Godzilla and Ghidorah, the two most powerful forces on the planet, clashing head to head. Godzilla, nature's guardian, against the extraterrestrial might of the three-headed Hydra, Monster Zero. With Monster Zero's awakening after being freed from the ice, the two titans had clashed before, with Ghidorah barely escaping with his life as a result of Godzilla's ambush in Isla de Mara. Unfortunately for Godzilla, humanity decided to take matters into their own hands and unleash a biological weapon with the intent of killing two birds with one stone. But as we all know, this backfired severely. Ghidorah's alien biology granted him immunity to the effects of the oxygen destroyer, but our protector, not so much. With Ghidorah retreating to heal from his wounds, a deafening roar is heard across the globe. Monarch has all eyes on Ghidorah until seismic activity detected. Earthquakes? No. Much worse. Monarch had initially thought Ghidorah's call had produced earthquakes throughout the Earth. Checking the source of said seismic activity, every single outpost is in disarray. Titans all over the globe have awakened. With Earth's most powerful ally in a critical state, Monarch needs to act fast. Putting all their eggs in one basket, Dr. Serizawa gives up his life to revive the king of the monsters. With a blue hue illuminating the water, Godzilla rises more powerful than ever before, pulsating with energy. Godzilla won't let Ghidorah escape for a third time. Hello everyone, and welcome to What If Ghidorah Defeated Godzilla in Boston. In King of the Monsters, we all remember Emma Russell's sacrifice to buy time for Godzilla to enter his most powerful state ever seen in the Monsterverse, to defeat his ancient rival. But in today's video, things are about to take a turn for the worse. Humanity had seen the devastating effect of the Titans back in 2014 with the pair of Mutos leveling cities such as Las Vegas and San Francisco. But this was on a whole different level. Kaiju such as Scylla, Behemoth, Methuselah, and the Queen Muto cannot be stopped by conventional means. With Godzilla's revival thanks to the huge surge of energy he took, he plans to put an end to all of this. With Godzilla on his way towards Ghidorah, Ghidorah has arrived in Boston. He's sensed the presence of an Alpha Titan, but as he scans the area, no Titan is found. Madison had used the Orca to call all the Titans to Boston, and Monster Zero was the first to arrive. With the Orca disconnected from the PA system, Madison attempts to make her escape, but something feels off. Slowly looking over to her right, one giant eyeball, orange in color and filled with hate, is staring right at her. And without a moment's notice, a burst of lightning passes by her. Monster Zero is aware of her presence and lights the stadium up. Unbeknownst to Ghidorah, Madison has made her way onto the field. Madison attempts to run away, but a lightning bolt strikes right next to her and she's flung onto the ground. With the Orca still chiming, Ghidorah looks at Madison on the ground, stomping on the device. With Ghidorah's neck being illuminated with a familiar yellow light, she can only scream back with defiance, and with a flash of lightning, the girl is disintegrated. Kevin has always been the curious one and sniffs the ground. The middlehead calls him in check. Something is approaching. Looking out into the harbor, a familiar set of dorsal plates is splitting the water and approaching fast. Ghidorah lets out a roar, challenging the king. Godzilla rises from the water and roars back. His spines illuminate and a far more powerful and wider atomic breath is unleashed, knocking Ghidorah down. Ghidorah gets back on his feet, and the three heads know this isn't the same Godzilla they were beating on in Antarctica. With the two Alpha Titans facing each other, they charge into battle. The stage is set for the rematch of a millennia. As King of the Monsters showed, the fight until the arrival of Mothra was going back and forth, but it was clear that Godzilla would eventually overwhelm Ghidorah thanks to his level of radiation. With Mothra's arrival on the scene, Ghidorah was ensnared against a building. Attempting to free himself, the blue glaring in Godzilla's eyes is seen in the reflection of the building. Turning around, Godzilla barrels him through the building, knocking the Hydra down. With Mothra flying in to strike Ghidorah once more, Rodan intervenes and occupies Mothra for now. This allows Ghidorah to get back on his feet. The fight would continue for a bit longer, but Godzilla is able to drive Ghidorah back into a corner. He needs to level the playing field. If the fight continues at this pace, Godzilla will overpower Ghidorah. He's too strong at the moment. With Ghidorah's power up, Godzilla is severely burned and cut. Godzilla's ally Mothra is backed into a corner by Rodan. As Rodan is about to land the final blow, he's stabbed in the back by Mothra and falls down to the ground. Ghidorah's immense power upgrade allows him to begin regenerating from the injuries injuries he endured throughout the fight. He latches onto Godzilla and begins his ascent to the upper atmosphere. Unlike in King of the Monsters, Mark and Emma Russell have not stopped searching for Madison. As well, they can't find her. Unbeknownst to them, they never will. With Godzilla being dropped from such a height and being in critical condition, Mothra knows what she must do. Gathering her remaining strength, flying headfirst into Ghidorah on a suicide mission, she's effortlessly disintegrated as her life force falls onto Godzilla, as his scales pulsate with an orange energy. With Mothra dispatched, Ghidorah slithers towards Godzilla. With Emma and Mark Russell being occupied, they fail to take notice of Godzilla's defeat, unlike in King of the Monsters, where they cause a distraction to buy him enough time to enter his controlled thermonuclear state. Ghidorah stares over Godzilla with a smile on all three heads. He bends down with all three jaws open wide. His mouths clamp down onto Godzilla. Godzilla shrieks in pain. The bright orange energy is being transferred from Godzilla's body to Ghidorah's. The vibrance from Godzilla is fading, life force being drained. What seemed like hours for Godzilla was only mere minutes. Ghidorah lets go of Godzilla and examines his own body. His gold-yellow scales have now become a crimson red. His mere presence sets the ground ablaze before him. Ghidorah is now stronger than ever before. Monarch can only watch as Ghidorah triumphantly roars at the sky. Just as he expected, the Titans he had so awakened have arrived in Boston. Gathering around Ghidorah, they take notice of the Titan lying right before him, seemingly dead on the ground. It's Godzilla, their former alpha. His body now a pale gray, seemingly malnourished. The Titans look up to Ghidorah as he stares them down one by one. Their previous alpha is now replaced by the one who is many. With Ghidorah defeating Godzilla, no Titan on the planet can stand up to him alone. Ghidorah reels back, wings up in the air, and as if the devil itself was on Earth, Ghidorah roars, shaking the very ground before him. His command to the Titans is to wreak havoc on the Earth. From continent to continent, destroy anything and everything in your path. One specific Titan looks up at Ghidorah in defiance. Behemoth is known to us as a benevolent Titan. He refuses to listen to Ghidorah's commands and roars in defiance. Surprised to see such defiance to his status, Ghidorah grabs Behemoth with his jaws and throws him thousands of feet, sending him barreling into a building. The other Titans view from their circle which once surrounded Ghidorah. He lumbers towards the downed Behemoth, his left arm in one jaw, the right arm in another, and his head in the center's jaw. Ghidorah's consumption of Godzilla's burning radiation allows Ghidorah's bite to set Behemoth ablaze. With Ghidorah holding Behemoth high in the air, jaws still clamped onto him, his head and arms are severed from his body, being ripped off gruesomely by Ghidorah. With Behemoth's headless corpse lying on the ground, still in flames, Ghidorah turns back towards the group of Titans. They all bow in fear to their new alpha. Each Titan sets off in different directions, ready to follow Ghidorah's commands. Monarch witnessed this all. Ghidorah seems absolutely unstoppable, being seemingly infinitely more powerful than before. Monarch checks their outposts, all of them in disarray, with the Titans that lay dormant before now gone. However, one outpost remains with the Titan it encloses, Outpost 33. Examining the outpost, it holds none other than Titanus Kong on Skull Island. Monarch agents and the remainder of the military that backed Godzilla in Boston scrambled to their aircraft traveling to Skull Island. As the aircraft neared the island, the reports weren't wrong. A massive storm encircles the island, this one more intense than the series of hurricanes that have covered the earth as a result of Ghidorah's mere presence. However, this isn't the 1970s. The advanced technology of Monarch allows for a safe but uncomfortable ride through the storm. As they pass through, they expect daylight but are met with yet another storm. It seems that Ghidorah's presence hasn't escaped any corner of the earth. All of Monarch's aircraft touch down outside the outpost in Skull Island. They are greeted as they exit by none other than Dr. Eileen Andrews. They ask her what Kong's been up to as a result of Ghidorah's alpha call, and well, he's been quite busy. As a result of Ghidorah's alpha call, all the smaller titans such as the Skullcrawlers have been running out of control, and Kong has had to do some handiwork himself, having to kill all the Skullcrawlers that have been going crazy on the island. Eileen Andrews is already well aware of the situation, and she's not willing to send Kong to fight Ghidorah. That would be a death sentence. Behind the scenes, Monarch has sent a retrieval expedition. This expedition is to recover the detonated oxygen destroyer off the coast of Isla de Mara, as well as Ghidorah's severed head. Monarch agents explained to Eileen Andrews that they're working on a weapon that could potentially weaken Ghidorah. Using the oxygen destroyer, if they can re-engineer its effects by incorporating Ghidorah's DNA, they could maybe have a fighting chance. This is their only chance. They need to take it. Just like how you need to take your chances when it comes to Kaiju Collection with Beast of the East collectibles. This video is sponsored by them, and what I have for you guys today is the movie movie monster series GMK Ghidorah. The thing I love most about this figure is its paint job. Few Ghidorah figures seem to get the gold right on their Ghidorahs, and this figure offers just the right amount of gold to give us that very important aspect, movie accuracy. Not only does he just look cool, but will fit right in with your collection, especially if you have other Ghidorahs like myself. If you want to save money and get your figures faster than Madison got vaporized in our scenario, then head on over to Beast of the East Collectibles. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video, and you'll be seeing a lot more of them on this channel. And now, back to our what if. Eileen Andrews thinks about the situation. Ghidorah will most likely come for Kong sooner or later, and if Ghidorah comes at his current power level, humanity's last hope would be dead in an instant. She decides that Kong will be sedated once a functional weapon is made, but until then, Kong will remain on the island. Back at Isla de Mara, the Monarch submarine is launched from the aircraft carrier, descending to the bottom of the ocean to retrieve the head of Ghidorah as well as the oxygen destroyer. This isn't the only expedition Monarch has planned. With it all being said and done, Kong still stands no chance against a potentially weakened Ghidorah. The mistake Ghidorah made was not finishing Godzilla off for good. While Godzilla may have seemed dead to Ghidorah, he simply couldn't move due to having the lowest amount of radiation he's ever had. Monarch has gathered multiple nuclear warheads to replicate Serizawa's sacrifice, but to an even greater level. With the oxygen destroyer retrieved and the Ghidorah head being examined, Monarch scientists are actively working with the US military to reverse engineer the effects of the oxygen destroyer to be spliced with the DNA of Ghidorah. The scientists theorize that the reason the oxygen destroyer failed to work on Ghidorah was due to the weapon being designed to affect organic matter based on earthly biology. By redesigning it to disrupt Ghidorah's trump card, his regeneration, it would need to work on a cellular level to prevent said cellular regeneration. While making significant progress, they stumble upon a problem. How would they deploy the weapon without injuring Kong? By gathering other Titan DNA and of course samples from Kong, Monarch scientists are able to re-engineer the oxygen destroyer to not negatively affect Titans from Earth. Rather, it's designed to target the cells of Ghidorah, halting his regeneration. With the oxygen destroyer reconstructed as a Hail Mary, it's time to bring our fallen Gojira back from the dead. Target location, Boston. The warheads are being loaded onto the plane, and right as they're about to take off, radio to command, Project G Resurrection is a go, requesting permission to take off, over. The pilot waits. Command, this is G Savior 2019, come in. Silence over the intercom. After a couple more seconds, the pilot receives an emergency transmission. Ghidorah has reduced Castle Bravo to pieces. The severed head still had telepathic connection to Ghidorah, and Ghidorah had answered its call. Luckily, the oxygen destroyer was safely expedited underwater to an undisclosed location. Project G Resurrection was good to go. The B-2 bomber quickly ascended into the air, 5 minutes from target location. 3 warheads were ready to be dropped and detonated onto Godzilla's corpse. If this didn't work, there would be little possibility of halting Ghidorah and the Titans. With the plan set in motion, Kong has been sedated and is being airlifted to Godzilla's location. The two have an ancient rivalry, commented Eileen Andrews. If those two don't put their differences aside, all hell will break loose. As if it wasn't already hell on Earth. The B-2 has arrived at its target location. T-3, 2, 1, drop. One by one, the warheads headed straight to the downed body of Godzilla. What seemed like a lifetime was merely a couple of seconds, and with a massive explosion, the shockwave rocked the fleeing bomber. Fireball after fireball, they illuminated the remnants of the entire city. Smoke surrounds the area, Monarch viewing from one of their overhead satellites intensely. It seemed like they were waiting for hours until... Godzilla is seen. The plan managed to work, and he looks angrier than ever before. He looks all around him, dazed as to where he is. He notices the charred, beheaded corpse of Behemoth. He was already mad at the fact that Ghidorah was unleashed onto the world again, but the death of such a beneficial titan for the planet that he protects? The life force of Mothra had stayed with Goji, fusing into him. He can sense all the titans across the globe. Ghidorah, Rodan, Queen Mudo, and Kong. Godzilla may have an ego, but at this time, he wasn't worried about Kong. Ghidorah was his main priority. Right on cue, he can see something in the distance. It's something flying, but it doesn't have any wings. This was none other than the Monarch aircraft flying Kong in as he lay in the net. The sedatives have worn off, and he's dropped a couple hundred meters from Godzilla. The two look at each other. Godzilla lets out a roar, and Kong answers with one as well, as Kong bows to no one. The two look at each other, but instead of fighting, they have a mutual understanding. Monarch checks the area for radiation. The readings are flat. Seems like Godzilla absorbed all the radiation we gave him, huh? A Monarch scientist remarks. With the might of both Godzilla and Kong, things just got interesting. With Ghidorah sensing Godzilla's sudden reawakening, he's been booking it to Boston. A familiar sight is seen. Clouds, almost black in color, roll into the city. A burst of red lightning illuminates the sky. Ghidorah. It seems this supercharged state isn't going away anytime soon. Ghidorah, constantly pulsating with energy, must have allowed him to constantly circulate this flow and replicate it throughout his body. He slams onto the ground. His mere presence set the rubble on fire. The one who is many is arrogant. His twisted smile is seen across all three heads. Ghidorah slithers in their direction, Godzilla pulsating with blue energy, similarly to when Serizawa revived him, yet far more extreme this time. While Kong may lack his battle axe, as he has an adventure to the Hollow Earth in this timeline, whatever he lacks for, the 3 nukes Godzilla received will make up for it. The 3 Alpha Titans face off. Ghidorah puts on his intimidation display, red and orange coursing through his wing veins. Godzilla and Kong roar as they charge into battle. Ghidorah responds with a roar of his own, the 2 sides charging into battle. Crimson Ghidorah against supercharged Godzilla and Kong. Who will fall? And there we have it, guys. Sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger, but man, this video is getting long fast. And I'll tell you what, if we can get this video to 2.4k likes for 2024, then I'll make a part 2. Until then, this is where our scenario will have to end. I thank you for watching this video, and if you've made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe for more kaiju, dinosaur, and sci-fi content like this. With that all being said, if you want to see what happens next, remember to get this video to that 2.4k like goal. I think you guys can get it. What did you guys think of how this what if went? Do you think something could have gone another way? And who do you guys think would win between our 2 sides? The might of Godzilla and Kong, or Ghidorah with his new powerful state that he absorbed from Goji? And once again, thank you so much to Beast of These Collectibles for sponsoring this week's video. And before we go, make sure to remember what Godzilla told Manila.
Godzilla says that I should learn to fight my own battles, you know.
I created a monster, cause nobody wants to see monster no more. They want shady, I'm chopped liver. Well, if you want shady, this is what I'll give you.